Salutations, everyone. This is Razor here, giving you guys another thoughts on episode where everything is made up and the gameplay does not matter. That's right, the gameplay is just like the Wii U. It just, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So today, what I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on is, of course, the Xbox One. I had to give you guys my opinion eventually. I'm sure some of you are curious, and you've heard what everyone else has thought about the press release and the reveal and all that stuff. So I'll just give you my sort of my views on it. It was just kind of you know. There were no surprises. Everything we thought we were going to see, we saw. Everything that we thought was going to be the case was the case, except for the name. I don't think anyone saw the name uh, coming at them. The Xbox One? What a terrible name! I don't understand how no one has made this comment yet. Xbox One is a really bad name for a console. First of all, it's the third one. I mean, I know it's not going to confuse a lot of people, but still, Xbox One when it's the third one. I mean, you got like PS1, that's the first PlayStation. Xbox One, I know they want to go for like it's an all-in-one entertainment hub, but it's just so dumb. They should have just called it the 720, or hell, the Xbox Loop would have been better. Fusion sounded dumb. Infinite sounded dumb. Just why didn't they call it the 720 or something, palpable? The Durango would have been a decent name if there wasn't already a crappy truck named after it. Um, but I mean, that wasn't really on anyone's radar. Terrible, terrible name. I don't know. I mean, second of all, it doesn't have like a shortened versions like you had the 360, PS3. There was really no shortening for the Wii. But you called the Xbox 360 the 360. You called the PlayStation 3 the PS3. So what is going to be the short name for the Xbox One? Xbox One. Because what else are you going to call it? What else are you going to call it? The X1, the XBL one? No, you're just going to call it Xbox One because that's the shortest way of saying it, and it's really long and tedious. I know that's a minor gripe, but still, bad name. Bad name. I mean, so is the Wii U. I mean, it seems like PlayStation 4 wins this generation of consoles naming-wise, and you didn't think that that would be the case with the uncreativity required for to just call something the fourth one, even though there's nothing wrong with that. There's definitely nothing wrong with that. I don't understand why they didn't just go with the Xbox 720. It would make the most sense, and it would have been the best name out of anything that I've heard, but anyways, everything that we thought was going to be the case was the case. We learned, a few weeks ago that it wasn't going to be always on, and so that's what we got. Kind of. It's not really always on, but it has to be on. You can only have it offline for a 24-hour period if you time it right. Now, of course, this will be jailbroken and fixed within like the first couple days the console being out. That's not even a question. It's going to be jailbroken, and people are going to figure out a workarounds on this 24-hour thing within a few hours of the console. I'm sure that's going to be something that someone. It's the first thing they do when they plug in the damn thing. So that's going to happen. And it's kind of shitty that you kind of have to have it on, the max amount of time is 24 hours without it being connected because they always want to, check in to see if you're doing things legitimately. Of course, they're going to try to mask that behind, it's like, oh, it's just going to be doing updates and connecting with the cloud and all this BS, but we all really know what it's about. And the other thing is, there's the clouds thing, that everyone was expecting. The look of the console, I think it doesn't look very good. It's like an old VCR or a cable box. It's just a very boring black rectangle. I mean, I haven't even seen like fan concept images of the Xbox One, I guess we call it now, that were worse than this. This is just a black rectangle. It's as boring as you can get. Now, I understand that the way the system looks isn't super important, but still, it's interesting, and it doesn't look appealing at all. It's a black box with a white light on it. Like, ooh, black and white. Didn't spare any expense in the design there, did you? Next up, we have the new controller, which is very interesting. It has a lot of different modifications, a lot of just really frivolous stuff, like oh, there's rumble in the trigger now, so you can feel the rumble of the trigger. Just gimmicky bullcrap that everyone's gonna turn off and not really give a shit about. But and the shoulder buttons look kind of crappy. The triggers, we'll see. I mean, we're not going to really know until we actually get to feel the thing, how it's going to behave, how we like the contour. I do like that the battery pack is smooth and integrated. It's not this bulky thing on the back anymore, and you can charge it via USB like the PlayStation 3 controller. So that was nice to know. You can also take it out and swap it if you're like in a MLG event, you're running low, you don't have to charge it. You just throw in another battery pack. So that was a pretty cool to learn. So that was a good thing. They haven't released any information about what those two buttons that are replacing the start and back buttons are. So there's a lot of information, a lot of speculation that's still going around. But there was no surprises. Everything that we thought was going to be the case was the case. It's not always on. It's not backwards compatible, which none of the new systems are going to be. We all kind of know that. Some people are going to be in an uproar, but it's like, why do people really care so much about backwards compatibility when they have the old systems? I understand, oh, it's a hassle to have multiple things. Just like, get over yourself. So it's not backwards compatible. We all saw this coming, and I don't really care, and neither should you. Uh, we saw a little bit of the specs. They were pretty much what we expected, nothing new. Xbox Connect is bundled with the Xbox One, which we all knew was going to be the case. As well as it having, you need it to have the Xbox One work, which is really sad because they really want to push all this really gimmicky stuff like the Kinect was in 360. I mean, sure, it had a lot of fans, but it wasn't perfect, and now it needs to be perfect in order for me to accept this to be an integral part of the system. Like voice commands. This is a squishy, non-workable thing 20 years ago. It doesn't work today, and it won't work 10 years from now. Voice recognition software is the most difficult thing to do, and until it's perfect, it's not something that should be a requirement in my eyes. Obviously, there's going to be some improvements, like you'll be able to use it in smaller rooms. So obviously, it has to be better for it to work, which it most likely will be. They released some games that announced are going to be on it, but of course, as we all expected, it was all pre-rendered cinematics, no actual gameplay, and I don't know, it was just kind of boring. It was kind of blah. Everything that we thought was going to be was that way, except for the name, really. And I mean, I don't want this to sound negative, but it was very boring. It was blah. It's everything we expected. There was no surprises, which I didn't expect to be. But I mean, bottom line, I'm still going to buy the damn thing. It's still going to be a product that I'm going to buy and enjoy. There's just that the reveal and all this stuff was handled kind of poorly. They target non-core gamers in these types of events, so they're not really talking to us for the most part. Um, and there's still things that we're going to be speculating on in the future, but overall there was no surprises. Everything we thought was going to be the case was the case outside of the look and the name. But it's not always on. Used games will still work, even though there's going to be like extra fees that you're going to have to pay. But the bottom line, it'll still be there'll still be ways to do that. Um, there's going to be cloud service that's not backwards compatible, and there's a new controller. So everything we thought was going to be the case was so. No surprises, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it was kind of boring. Also, you may be interested in knowing that the headsets that we have now for the 360 are not going to work on the new controllers because it's a different media port. So unless they create an adapter, which some companies might do, if it's possible, I'm sure those will be getting out there. But of course, they're also going to make brand new headsets for the thing as times goes on, as well as other peripherals, I'm sure. But for the most part, pretty bland, pretty boring. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm still going to buy it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.